Okay, so we were doing the issue, book 1, Canto 2, and there I think we covered here until the gods above and nature's soul below were the spectators of that mighty strife. So now this uh, combat that is going to take place between the Lord of Death and Savitri, referring to that mighty strife. And who are the spectators? There are no earthly spectators in that sense, only the gods above and the nature, Prakriti, nature's soul below is the spectator. The whole world does not know what Savitri is fighting for, although Savitri is fighting for the world or the mankind. And then there is this description of the scene of what prepared Savitri so far for this day to come. So that's description we are going to read. Yeah. So anyone who want to just go ahead, read these lines.
Yeah, I'll go. Around her were the austere sky pointing hills, and the green, murmurous, broad, deep thoughted woods, muttered incessantly their muffled spell. A dense, magnificent, colored, self wrapped life, draped in the leaves' vivid emerald monotone, and set with checkered sunbeam and blithe flowers, immured her destiny's secluded scene.
Yeah. So this is a little description of Savitri's environment where she has been for the past 12 months. How uh, this ambience has been preparing her as if for her future life. So this is the scene. Around her were the austere sky pointing hills and the green, murmurous, broad, deep thoughted woods. So just the description of the forest, of the nature, murmur, whenever you go into the forest, in a dense, deep forest, we always hear this murmur, a background noise of the creatures of the forest, of the insects, of the woods. Murmurous, broad, deep thoughted woods, as if those woods are in a deep contemplation. And that is why nature appeals to most of us so much, because it absorbs us somewhere. Muttered incessantly their muffled spell, as if they are continuing with this chant which is highly absorptive in nature. This background noise of the forest activities, as if they are chanting a mantra, a spell which is deeply absorbing in nature. A dense, magnificent, wrapped life. So dense, the thick density of the forests, back to back, trees after bushes after trees after bushes, back to back, packed, magnificent color, self wrapped life, a life which is not looking outward, in human, the way we live in the present consciousness. We are always looking outside, either for approval, for expectations, for demands. This life, the forest life, is a self wrapped life. There, it's not an outward, it's not an outward looking life. So, yeah, it's an inward turned life which is not looking outside. That is the reference to the life of complete nature in the forest. Draped in the leaves vivid emerald monotone, referring to the color of the forests, green, emerald, green, monotone, draped as if it's like we drape a sari, draped in the leaves, vivid emerald monotone, and set with checkered sunbeams. Imagine the scene of the forest, dense, thick forests, how the sun rays fall through the leaves, through the branches. Somewhere there is shade, somewhere there is light, checkered sunbeams, and blithe flowers, happy, cheerful flowers. This was the whole scene that was enclosing, immured her destiny's secluded scene, as if this all was kind of a protective space in which Savitri's destiny was being prepared. Savitri herself was being prepared for what was to come in future in this protective scenario. There is also, the description continues further, how it helped her to gain the strength in her spirit. Yeah, just let me. Yeah, Taru, would you like to read? Can't hear you, Taru.
This is, can you hear me now?
Now it's.
Yeah. There had she grown to the stature of her spirit, the genius of titanic silences, steeping her soul in its wide loneliness, had shown to her herself's bare reality and mated her with her environment.
Yeah. So this environment, the whole forest, nature environment, there she had grown to the stature of her spirit. Her spirit had, as if it had regained a lot of strength, a lot of calm and poise, because the environment around was as if it was seeping in her being. All the silences of the forest, the nature, the strength of mountains around, titanic silences. When we go into to the mountains, deep contemplative poise of those mountains, as if it was seeping into her being, the genius of titanic silences, steeping her soul in its wide loneliness. So, all that silence, all that stillness and poise of the nature was steeping her soul. Imagine how we steep a cloth in a dyeing colored water. We put the cloth in, if it's a white cloth, we put it in, and slowly, 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 all the color from outside goes inside the cloth. Just like that, her soul was getting steeped through the silences, through the ambience of the nature, had shown to her herself's bare reality and mated her with her environment. So, the environment of the nature, because nature is a beautiful guru for all of us, the silence of the stillness and poise of trees, the vulnerability of flowers, the strength, the might of mountains, all that is as if going into, seeping into her being, and there it is helping her, helping Savitri to show her herself's bare reality, what you are truly, as if it was shown to Savitri through the nature's presence, and mated her with her environment. So, as if she was completely one with the silence of the mountain, with the stillness of a tree, mated, just kind of together with each other. There was no difference that she could feel between the nature and herself. The nature had steeped into herself. Just keep sharing if anything comes. Its solitude greatened her human hours with a background of the eternal and unique. This physical solitude which we have when we are in a space which is spare of humans and more of nature, this physical solitude is a big help if one knows how to use it fully. And that is why these, usually these retreats, these ashrams, they are mostly in deep in the woods, deep in nature, where human beings are not much around. There is not much noise of the usual clutter of the world around. So if this physical solitude can be used rightly, this actually connects us to a infinite. It kind of gets us in a communion with the infinite, which usually we are not able to owing to the clutter and chaos all around. So this silence and stillness of the forest hours, it helped her to be in solitude, also in a physical solitude plus a mental solitude. And this connected her being to the infinite, to the divine. So the solitude of the forests greatened her human hours. अब ये भी अपने ऊपर डिपेंड करता है, many a times even if we go to the forest, we can keep ourselves busy with all kind of stuff. We will say that I don't want to give myself the solitude. We actually most of the time we run away from that. But if used rightly, this solitude can help one conserve one's inner resources. One can connect back to one's nature, true nature, and come out rejuvenated. So that is the reference here, with a background of the eternal and unique. So she's getting in touch with the eternal in this physical solitude, the years that she has spent in the forest with Satyavan. Yeah. Yes. Anyone?
I'll go, Monica.
Yes.
A force of spare direct necessity reduced the heavy framework of man's day and his overburdening mass of outward needs to a first thin strip of simple animal wants, and the mighty wildness of the primitive earth, and the brooding multitude of patient trees, and the musing sapphire leisure of the sky, and the solemn weight of the slowly passing months, had left in her deep room for thought and God.
Yeah. So when she is in forest, Savitri along with Satyavan and her and the parents, there aren't much needs in the forest. The life is very simple. A force of spare direct necessity. Only the basic minimal needs are there in the lifestyle. If we look at our own lifestyles, the kind of lives that we have at the moment, we we can see that we have actually overburdened ourselves with things and clutter, and all those come as beautiful pictures in the beginning, but then we are burdened with their maintenance.
मोनिका,
Like, yeah, yeah,
सॉरी टू इंटरप्ट यू, एक्चुअली ना
बिल्कुल.
निशु इज ट्राइंग टू, वो पहले जूम पे लिंक इन कर लॉग इन कर रही थी, देन आई टोल्ड हर दैट दैट जूम लिंक इज फॉर सैटरडे, बट नाउ शी इज आस्किंग दैट आई थिंक मे बी शी इज इंटरेस्टेड इन जॉइनिंग इन, आई
Today,
थिंक उस या
okay,
शी
I'll just share the link. Yeah, okay.
या
Okay, I've sent her the link.
ओके.
So when she's in the forest, it's just the basic minimal needs that are there. She's not occupying most of her times with the maintenance of the home, which we usually are busy with in our, urban lifestyles. So our human days are usually burdened with the heavy framework. ये काम निपटाना है, वो काम निपटाना है, इसको मेंटेन करना है, उसको मेंटेन करना है. In the forest, owing to the spare necessity, सिर्फ जो minimal necessity, all the direct necessities are there, only those are occupying her time. So most of her time is for herself. That is what is the reference here. A force of spare direct necessity reduced the heavy framework of man's days. अगर हम अपने आप को देखें, हम तो 80% of the time we are involved in things which are just consuming in nature, which are draining in nature. Because the framework that we have created for ourselves is so heavy, it takes up so much of time. जबकि देखा जाए तो क्या चाहिए हमको पूरे दिन में, थोड़ा सा खाना, थोड़ा सा पीना, थोड़ी सी छत, थोड़े से कपड़े. These are the basic minimal needs. But look at what we busy ourselves with. Yeah. Okay. Okay, then. Yes. And reduce the heavy framework of man's days and his overburdening mass of outward needs. This is again reference to all these extra needs that we have created in our day-to-day lives. To a first thin strip of simple animal wants. This is the life Savitri is living, to a thin strip of simple animal wants. Basic food, basic water, basic रहने पीने का, खाने का. This is where Savitri's time goes, if at all, wherever it goes. And along with that, there is this mighty wildness of the primitive earth. Barren earth, primitive earth, it does not need much for its sustenance. It does not require a lot of luxury, right? And the brooding multitude of patient trees and the musing sapphire leisure of the sky. So, this is all a description of the environment in which Savitri has been nurturing herself for the past 12 months. Simple, basic animal wants. Along with that, she has the company of wild, primitive earth which is not affected much, which is not burdened much by the human presence. Brooding multitude of patient trees, as if the trees are in a trance, as if they are in a contemplation, in a deep contemplation. And the musing sapphire leisure of the sky, and over that there is sky which is as if it's a musing sky. It is again a deeply contemplative sky, looking at all the happenings on the earth, musing peacefully. And the solemn weight of the slowly passing months. Because if we are not occupied with too much in a day, then the time also seems to pass very slowly. It's like it slows down. And that is why the solemn weight of the slowly passing months had left in her deep room for thought and God. Just because Savitri had a lot of time in this environment, she had a lot of time for deep contemplations and communion with the Divine Presence. Now, if we compare this with our human lives, we can see how badly we actually absorb ourselves in the day to day activities. Most of them are just at the name of luxury, and they just eat up our time, and we are hardly left 30 minutes, in a day, maybe less, for this deep contemplation and thought with God. Yeah. I think that this is really a good point to reflect upon our own lives. What are we busy with? ऐसा क्या है हमारी जिंदगी में जो इतनी जगह लेके बैठा है, इतनी जगह लेके बैठा है कि we don't have time for our true need, our soul's need. और उसको क्या करते हैं हम कहीं ना कहीं एडजस्ट करते हैं. Whenever a calling comes where we see that my soul's need will be fulfilled, उसको हम अपने उन 10 hours में एडजस्ट करने की कोशिश करते हैं. Like बाकी सब निपटा के फिर we give like 1 hour or half an hour to this soul's need. And no wonder that our lives are mostly in a chaos, waiting for something to happen. Yeah, I think this is really a beautiful paragraph for contemplation, what our urban lives have created. Yeah.
Are you reading, Monica, or should I?
हाँ, आप पढ़ो. आप पढ़िए.
There was her drama's radiant prologue lived, a spot for the eternal tread on earth, set in the cholesterol yearning of the woods, and watched by the aspiration of the peaks, appeared through an what is this word?
Orient.
Aureate opening in time, where stillness listening felt the unspoken word, and the hours forgot to pass towards grief and change.
Yeah. So this is again continuing with the description of what is happening, how Savitri is being prepared. There was her drama's radiant prologue lived. What the drama that is now to happen in future with Satyavan's death and Savitri's confrontation with the Lord of Death. Uska as if it's a prologue that is happening here in the forest. There was her drama's radiant prologue lived in this setting of the forest. A spot for the eternal's tread on earth. As if the divine, the eternal, is wanting to have feet on earth, and he's looking for some nice space. Where should I step my feet on? And this is the spot where he finds that, okay, this is the right place for my tread on earth. A spot for the eternal's tread on earth. And what is the scene? Set in the cloistral yearning of the woods. Cloistral is as if it's an enclosed, like a jewel is enclosed in a wood. जैसे चूड़ी बनती है, bangle बनती है, so there we put a jewel within that bangle. Just like that, as if this place in the forest was a secluded place, a jewel-like place in the woods, which was watched by the aspiration of the peaks, the mountains around. appeared through an aureate opening in time. The whole area is watched as if by the high peaks of the mountains around. And this aureate, this golden spot in time is the place where the eternal sees, okay, here I will place my feet. This looks like a nice place for me to tread on earth. A golden spot, full of silence, full of stillness, and as if everything is listening to the unspoken word, where stillness listening felt the unspoken word. Usually हम बात करते हैं inner voice की, many a times we say how to listen to the inner voice, and fortunately or unfortunately inner voice की कोई आवाज नहीं है, and that is why we need to silent the mental chatter, the emotional chatter, to listen to that unspoken word. So here, where stillness is listening, and stillness feels that it has heard the unspoken word. वो जो बोला भी नहीं गया, वो सुन लिया गया. वो तभी हो सकता है जब we have that kind of a stillness and calm within and without. Here, where the hours forgot to pass towards grief and change. As if the time has come to a standstill here in the forest. And it is also referring to the restless emotional energy. We all have felt that in our body, how the emotions just are ready to do their tandav within us. And the restless emotional ups and downs, the upheavals, that restless energy of the emotions, when that gets settled, when that falls into silence, only then we are able to have this communion with the inner divine presence. And this is what Savitri has been experiencing. Owing to the stillness from outside, and also she's able to connect from the calm within and communicate as if to the higher self constantly through these passing months. So there is a kind of a coming of a standstill in time. Time is not passing very rushedly as it passes in cities or urban developments. We have too much to do, too much to take care, look after. Here it's not like that. She has a deep room for thought and for God. Yeah.
It is kind of showing ki even though she knows that Satyavan is going to die, but एक नॉर्मल इंसान क्या करता है जब उसको पता है मुसीबत होने लगती आने वाली है या कुछ है, हम बड़ी हलचल में हो जाते हैं. इट इज काइंड ऑफ शोइंग दैट हाउ शी इज मेंटेनिंग हर poise. Is that
Beautiful.
right?
Yes, bilkul, bilkul. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also is a reference to the calm and inner stillness that she has, because she has
Yeah.
not told about this to anyone. जैसे कहते हैं ना अपना दर्द share
Yes.
करना. Yeah.
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 And she's dealing with it all by herself with
All
so
by
much of
herself.
calm. It's kind of a message in a way that this is how life should be taken, like whatever the circumstances are.
बिल्कुल, बिल्कुल.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah. So Riddhi, hi. I saw that you've joined.
Yeah, hi, I just joined.
Yeah, yeah. So would you like to just listen today? Because so what we do is we read a few lines from Savitri,
Okay.
like with a slow accent, and then I share thoughts on it, my research on it, and then we share our collective reflections on it if they
Okay.
arise. ठीक है, तो
Okay.
आप देखना whenever you feel like participating more,
Okay.
it's totally up to you. ठीक है?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Here, with the suddenness divine advents have, repeating the marvel of the first descent, changing to rapture the dull earthly round. Love came to her, hiding the shadow death. So, this is a reference to how divine events in our life are placed. They don't have a timing, they don't have any timing at all. They don't go by our mental calculations. They will come when the time is right, and they will kind of fade away when the time is not right. So, this is referring to these divine events which are beyond our mental calculations. और कभी कभी होता है हम साधना के पथ पे हैं और वी आर एक्सपेक्टिंग रिजल्ट्स, है ना, हमें लगता है कि यार इतना टाइम हो गया इस पथ पे लेकिन अभी भी ऐसा ही है, अभी भी ऐसा ही है. सो वी मे थिंक दैट इट इज लाइक दैट, but the divine has his own plan. And mother says at this, mother says that just like a egg, when a chicken is preparing in the egg, for a long time we see that the egg from outside looks exactly the same, there is no difference, and we wonder whether something is happening inside or not. And when the time is ripe, the egg suddenly cracks. It did not mean that all these days nothing was happening. And the path of sadhana, of living a truer life, is just like that. We have to continue doing our efforts without waiting or imagining for much of results. We have to be based, anchored in our truth, day to day, moment by moment. And then whenever the divine feels that the space is ripe, the place, the person is ready, then some graceful event happens, and that is beyond our mental calculation. We would never imagine when would any event happen in the divine's plan. Yeah. And this is also related to how the first descent of love happened in this universe. As we have studied in the first few, sessions in a Savitri, I think I shared the story of how the creation, mother shares the story of creation. Ki jo Brahman the Brahman was all by himself in the universe, all by himself. Everything was unmanifest in the universe, and just out of fun, out of a joy of being, the Brahman says, okay, let us manifest something out of myself. So it manifested the life force, Chit Shakti, Aditi, or the divine mother, out of his self, and asked Aditi, why don't you go out and create a world, create a universe? So what Aditi does is, Aditi from herself manifests out four powers and asks those powers to create the manifestation in the universe. Those powers were consciousness, bliss, life, and truth. So consciousness, uh, what happened when, as if the Aditi, the Shakti, the Chit Shakti, the life force, she relayed her power, जाओ ये काम करो, जैसे चार बंदे आगे भेज दिए कि जाके ये काम करो. And in the process of manifestation, these powers inverted, in the sense they separated from the divine essence. So the consciousness, when it separated from the divine essence, it became unconsciousness. Life became death. Bliss turned into suffering. And truth became falsehood. And now the whole process of our being human is the process that we have to turn now this unconsciousness into consciousness, back to its divine origin, falsehood into truth, suffering into bliss, and death into life. This is the whole evolution process that we have to take. That is why the human birth is there, to take forward this process of evolution, the process of adventure. And here, when the first consciousness became unconsciousness, it yearned for the divine, it yearned ki mere ko, I am just suffocated here, it yearned towards the divine. And the divine then, to change all that darkness to light, sent forward its power, which is called the power of love. So God or the divine or the Aditi, it sent forward this power of consciousness, of light, of love into the creation, कि अब जाके इसको हम लव की पावर से इसको हम वापस डार्कनेस को टर्न करेंगे लाइट में, फॉल्सहुड को ट्रुथ में, सफरिंग को ब्लिस में. So this meeting of Savitri with Satyavan here is also a reference to that first dawning of love into this creation. Here, with the suddenness the divine advents have, repeating the marvel of the first descent, the descent of love into the matter. आप देखिए, सबसे पहले हम, if you read the story of how we came into existence, सबसे पहले we were stones. We did not have any consciousness active in us. Then, owing to the power of love sent, we turned into plants. Such a drastic transition, from stone into a plant, from plant into insects, from insects into animals, into creatures. We all have been through that journey. From creatures to dinosaurs to Neanderthals, all this human evolution. And now our consciousness is at that stage that it can communicate directly with the divine presence if given a chance. So this first descent is the reference to the descent of God's love into existence, which came only to take forward the process of evolution, merging of back into the divine, merging back of unconsciousness into consciousness. And again, as I said, death into life, suffering, truth, bliss. Repeating the marvel of the first descent, changing into rapture the dull earthly round. Look at those moments in our lives, where एक तरफ तो होता है कि हम मैकेनिकल रूटीन में जीते जा रहे हैं, राइट? दैट इज डल अर्थली राउंड, द राउंड ऑफ मैकेनिकल हैबिट्स, unconscious patterns. The moment we became conscious of those patterns within ourselves, around ourselves, look at the joy that comes, as if we have rediscovered ourselves. That consciousness with which I see my own tendencies, my own patterns, is nothing but that force of love sent from the divine. That gives me joy. When I myself use my consciousness to look at my own unconsciousness, that changes my dull mechanical habits to a rapture, to a joy of progress. Just like that, to Savitri, love came to her hiding the shadow death. When Satyavan came to her life was filled with intensity, filled with rapture. We have all been through even human kind of love. We have all been through that. We know what kind of an intensity even human love brings in the beginning. That intensity comes to life. Love has that power. Love came to her hiding the shadow death. She had this foreknowing already that the death was lurking behind, even when the intensity of the love was there. This is how love came to Savitri. And well might he find in her his perfect shrine. So God of love is as if it's wanting a place for itself, a home for itself. कहाँ जाके मैं घर करूं? क्योंकि अर्थ पे मुझे ट्रांसफॉर्मेशन लाना है. अर्थ पे आई वांट टू make it a place full of beauty, for now it is a place of ugliness. Where do I make my house? As if the god of love is asking. Here in Savitri, it feels like Savitri is a fit instrument for the god of love to house his presence. Well, might he find in her his perfect shrine. Shrine होती है ना जहाँ पे जैसे समाधि और remains are kept, where a god's presence can be there. So the love, the god of love can stay within Savitri. And this is also a reference to the mother, Sri Aurobindo and mother. Sri Aurobindo also, when we talk about Savitri, this is a reference to the mother. Mother is Savitri. She is the divine incarnation of love, manifested on earth not for herself, but to change or transform the humankind. In Mother, in Savitri, love is going to find his perfect shrine. Yeah. Yes, Radhana ji.
Since the since first the earth beings heavenward growth began, through all the long ordeal of the race, never a rarer creature bore his shaft, that burning test of the Godhead in our parts, a lightning from the heights on our abyss, all in her pointed to a nobler kind.
Yeah. So this is also a little description of when we talk about psychic being or the soul. If we go deeply into it, we will see that psychic being or the soul is nothing but the manifestation of that love that has been sent by the divine consciousness, so that all that is dark can be changed into light, can turn back to its source. So when we connect deeply with our inner being, why it is stressed again and again that connect with yourself deeply in any moment. It is stressed because the light that we all seek is present within us. And that is why whenever we read or listen these words full of light, they strike a chord within us. Why? No, why would they strike a chord if I don't already have a knowing within myself? And uh, that is the very manifestation that yes, I also have something in me which knows or sees truth from far. Even if the truth is far, I, with an eagle eye, I see that yes, this is truth, and this is what I must follow. As if there is a magnet within me which is hearing or listening to the call of the divine. And that magnet is nothing but the soul. So, agar if we spend more and more time along in within the remaining within the Kurukshetra of the earth, with all the earthly manifestation, remaining here, if we connect deeply within to find out a deeper light, we will see that all that happens around us is trying to show me something, tell me something. Nothing is there without a reason. So that is why where Sri Aurobindo's word, comes, all life is yoga. Then I would not need 30 minutes separately in my life for meditation and rest all is bogus. Not at all. Because the soul is present in me throughout. I am it. So who is there to, kind of be afraid? Whatever comes in my way, whatever comes in my stride, I can learn from those experiences. And we see that if we begin to learn from each and every ugliness on our path, then even that seeming ugliness does not appear ugly. A deeper strength arises within us. It is nothing but the power of spirit, it's the power of soul that we have connected with. To take everything that comes in the day as a path of yoga, to exclude nothing. No emotion, no situation has to be excluded. Then I will not be even needing 2 hours separately, although that may be required many a times. But it's not that wo mera meditative time hai and rest all is non-meditative. The whole life has the capacity to become meditative. So this, when you read this line, since first the earth beings heavenward growth began, it only began with the advent of the soul. Soul, as if it's as if imagine करो, two magnets हैं, दोनों एक दूसरे को खींच रहे हैं. One magnet is this divine pull, and the other, a little part of the magnet is left within us, and that is why we seek for light, we yearn for peace, we yearn for truth. We do not get settled if truth is not there. एक restlessness, एक बेचैनी सी बनी रहती है. That is the very manifestation that all we want is actually to aspire to go forward. So with the coming of the soul within the human consciousness, even the light of consciousness, I would say, then began this heavenward growth. पहले तो divine ने अपने आप को involute किया. It kind of hid itself away in the matter. And then now this is the process of evolution, to kind of shine out the light of the divine out of this matter, this thick, resistant, impervious matter. Through all the long ordeal of the race, so many eons, so many centuries have passed. We have been struggling, falling, rising, falling, rising. The rise of human spirit. Look all through history, what all human beings have gone through. So much of ugliness human beings have gone through. And that refers to the strength of the spirit. There is so much strength in the spirit. And that all is present within ourselves. Each one of us has the memory of all that growth of human evolution. Never a rarer creature being where the God of love can find its place for manifestation. It's referring to the mother again. Never a rarer creature bore his shaft, that burning test of Godhead in our parts. Love strikes us, when the divine love strikes, the intensity is strong, burning, as if it is calling all our divine parts, shine out, shine out. And all that is not required now, all that is now obsolete, rubbish, it has to burn down. And that is why mystics and saints have said the path of love is not easy. जो उबरा सो डूब गया, जो डूबा सो पार. ये इश्क का दरिया है. It's referring to the fire that love is. So not each and every human being is capable of housing that fire of love, because it burns, the intensity is strong. But here, referring to Savitri, she is capable, owing to the calm and poise and stillness that she has, that burning test of the Godhead in our parts, a lightning from the heights on our abyss. As if God is sending this, the divine is sending this lightning, so strong in intensity, from the heights on our fathomless depths, all the darkness that we are. On that darkness, a strong intensity of light in the form of love, that is being sent. All in her pointed to a nobler kind. So this is referring to the mother, to Savitri, that in Savitri there is something of a nobler kind which is not usually found in human beings. There is something more divine about Savitri. This is more humane in Savitri. And that is why love finds a place here, that okay, I will do my work through this instrument. Through Savitri, I will do my work. Yeah. Anything so far? Yes, Aradhana ji.
Near to earth's wideness, intimate with heaven, exalted and swift, her young, large visioned spirit, voyaging through world of splendor and of calm, overflew the ways of thought to unborn things.
Yeah. So this is again a description of what is so unique in Savitri. When he says, Sri Aurobindo says here, all in her pointed to a nobler kind. And these are the pointers. Near to earth's wideness, intimate with heaven. Look at the beauty. So she has the wideness and the grounding of the earth. Yet she is intimate with the heaven at the same time, with the heights in herself, with the communion with the divine. That is happening at the same time in Savitri. Exalted and swift, her young, large visioned spirit. The spirit in Savitri has a larger vision. यूजुअली हम जब जिस तरीके से जीवन में काम करते हैं, हमारा एक बहुत ही छोटा नैरो विजन होता है, जो अभी का है बस वो दिख रहा है, अभी की खुशी, अभी का गम. Savitri's spirit has a very large vision, and even when there are times in our own lives when we to get in touch deeply with our spirit, we can also have that access to the larger vision, that I am not defined by these little experiences. I am much greater than those. Exalted, means uplifted, and swift. It moves swiftly from here to there, like a bird. Imagine a big, large, humongous bird with a very sharp vision. And he's like kind of, flying around looking at the larger vision of the whole scenario. That is what is Savitri's spirit. Exalted and swift, her young, large visioned spirit, voyaging through worlds of splendor and of calm. As if it's voyaging, traveling from the different worlds, the realms that are available, the realms of dreams, the realms of communion with the divine, the realms of the inner world. As if that bird, which has this larger vision, it is freely moving here and there, overflew the ways of thought to unborn things. At the same time, she is able to go beyond the mind, overflow, beyond the mind, above the mind. Usually हमारा जो दिमाग है वो सिर्फ एक माइंड के तल पे रहता है. Calculation, all the planning, all the logic, and even there we don't use it fully. She, because of her large vision spirit, she is overflowing the ways of thought. She is above, beyond the mind, and she is able to see all that is immortal, unborn, that which is not yet manifest. Even that is a part of her vision. That which is yet to be. Ardent was her self poised, unstumbling will. Her mind, a sea of white sincerity, passionate in flow, had not one turbid wave. This is the purity of Savitri. Why she would be the house of love. Ardent was her self-poised, unstumbling will. Again, the quality that she has, the unstumbling will, the self-poise. It's a burning will, the intensity of will is very, very strong. It's stronger than the rest of the humanity. And that is why she is the champion when we talk about being competence, that the death is on one side and now she is a champion from the humankind. This is why she is the champion, because her will is unstumbling. If we look at our own will, we waver. Our mental will wavers. कभी कर पाते हैं, कभी नहीं कर पाते हैं. एक बार ठान ली तो जरूरी नहीं है कर लेंगे. And this is also referring, I would say, to the psychic will, because when we are in touch with the deeper being within us, from there when the will arises, there it is unstumbling will. At the mental level, things waver. So because Savitri has taken a human birth not for herself, she is very sure of her mission, and that is why the will is very, will is connected to the psychic. It's a psychic will. It knows what it wants to do, and that's why it's unstumbling. If we look at ourselves, we half of the time we are in confusion what we actually want to do with our lives, and that is why we stumble. Our will stumbles. Her mind, a sea of white sincerity, pure sincerity in her mind. I think अगर हम इस लाइन को भी पकड़ लेना, her mind a sea of white sincerity, we will see that most of the time in our lives, we may say that we are creature of a mind. We are not even that. क्योंकि अगर हम माइंड को यूज करके भी अपनी लाइफ की बेवकूफियां और चालाकियां देख लें, तब भी हमें समझ में आने लग जाए कि ये मेरी लाइफ में चल क्या रहा है. The problem is that we don't even use the mind fully. We are so dishonest that मेरे सामने पड़ा होगा सफेद और मेरे गॉगल्स जो चढ़े होंगे मेरे ऊपर वो होंगे पीले, मेरी टेंडेंसीज के, मेरी वृत्तिज के, और मुझे वो गॉगल्स नहीं दिखेंगे. मैं बोलूंगी ये तो पीला ही है, मुझे पता है ये पीला है. So we fail to look at our own self. We fail to look at our own goggles that we may be wearing, our own blind spots, our own unconscious hidden tendencies. So even the mind that can be used fully to come to truth, we don't use it. So this is referring to the mind of Savitri. Her mind, a sea of white sincerity, pure sincerity. She can see things clearly with stark honesty, deep honesty. She doesn't want to hide anything from herself. Passionate in flow, had not one turbid wave. So although there is a purity in her mind, yet it's not a passive mind. It's not lacking energy. It's full of passion. It's full of intensity. A flow is there. And in that flow, it's not a mixture of emotions. Had not one turbid wave. Now, this is also referring to, if we see, if we look at mother's prayers and meditations, how she's constantly self-giving herself to the divine. I don't need anything for myself. I just want to offer myself to you. Use me fully in whatever way you want. If one does that, because mother was not here for herself. We human beings, as we take birth, we are full of our selfish agendas, and that is our task, that we have to get rid of our manipulative agendas. That is what makes our mind turbid. Our own manipulative agencies, our own chalakis and dishonesties. मुझे क्या चाहिए इस situation से? If we are able to see that, then we are able to use the mind fully also. To look starkly, deeply, honestly at my own insincerity. And then we can also harness this passion which usually is lacking from our lives, क्योंकि सारी एनर्जी तो इधर उधर वेस्ट कर देते हैं, ड्रेन कर देते हैं. When I will be able to, in any moment of time, if I am able to look at myself closely, intimately, all that this passion, the divine flow is available to me in that moment, because I am not draining energy in that turbidity, the mixture of emotions and wants. So this is referring to Savitri's purity, the intensity that she has, the purity, sincerity that she has, the will, unstumbling will that she has. Yeah. So we'll just read, I think, the last few lines, and then we end. Yeah. Taru, are you there? Would you like to read?
As in a mystic and dynamic dance, a priestess of immaculate ecstasies, inspired and ruled from truth's revealing vault, moves in some prophet cavern of the gods. A harp of silence in the hands of joy, inhabited with rich creative beats, a body like a parable of dawn that seemed a niche for veiled divinity, or golden temple door to things beyond.
Yeah. So this continues, this is the description again of Savitri now, about the heart of Savitri. So, yeah, a heart of silence in the hands of joy, as if there is a calmness, the stillness about Savitri's, and it is in the hands. Imagine the hands of joy, the hands of eternity, as if is holding that heart full of silence of Savitri's. And this heart is in a mystic and dynamic dance. A mystic dance, not much is known, it's an unfolding and a dynamic dance. And now Savitri is being referred to as priestess of immaculate ecstasies. Immaculate, neat and tidy and pure. The mixture of emotions that are found in an human being are not present there. A priestess of immaculate ecstasies, inspired and ruled from truth's revealing world, as if whatever truth is revealing to this priestess, that priestess is dancing around in this dynamic and mystical dance, and in a new language revealing it to the earth. And all this inspiration is coming owing to the direct touch of truth that she is in touch with. Inspired and ruled from truth's revealing world, moves in some prophet cavern of the gods. So, the Sri Aurobindo here is creating this imagery, if we can imagine, visualize, a priestess who is in direct touch with the truth, inspirations from truth, and as if she is in this area full of gods and revealing in her own language through her dynamic dance what the truth wants to convey to the earth. A heart of silence in the hands of joy. Look at our hearts. I would use this moment to look at our own hearts. Where are we right now? and where must we aspire towards? A heart of silence in the hands of joy, inhabited with rich creative beats. I would also relate this with in our moments, in our phases in life where we are a heart of silence. We have touched these spaces, inhabited with rich creative beats. All that inspiration from the higher realms now is able to dawn upon in that heart, which is a silent and calm, poised heart, which is not troubled by the front part, as Sri Aurobindo says that the front part of heart is full of human emotions, of vital emotions, right? So when we are able, in those moments where we are able to have this silent heart, we can also access this dimension of rich creative beats. Now referring to the body of Savitri, physical presence of Savitri, a body like a parable of dawn, a body like a parable of dawn that seemed a niche for veiled divinity. As we were sharing earlier, that the God of love now sees that, okay, this is the golden spot. Here I can enter. Here, this seems like a pure, immaculate space. I can enter here. I can do my work from here. So, this place, Savitri's body, seemed like a perfect niche, a perfect place for the divinity to reside in a veiled form, in a covered form. Look at the life of the mother, how many lives she touched, or golden temple door to things beyond. So Sri Aurobindo here is giving us two images. One image is that this body can serve as a niche for the veiled God of love, for the love's presence in a veiled form, in this human form. Or the other image that Sri Aurobindo shares is, or a golden temple door to things beyond. If you remember in the first canto, we read in the symbol dawn, as if the clouds or the colors in the clouds during the dawn time, as if it was like a golden door revealing of something other than this world. So this is how it is also a reference to Savitri's body, Savitri's physical presence, how that serves as a golden temple door to things which are of the beyond, which we have not seen so far, which we can only aspire for, which we can only look forward to. That is what Savitri represents. Yeah. So I think it would still continue, uh, and because it's a little longer, so I would like to take it in the next session also. So Savitri's description is still continuing. What makes Savitri so special, that the God of love wants to work through her? That would be still going on. So I think we should take up that in the next session. Yeah. Anything so far, Aradhana ji or Riddhi? Okay.
जैसे जैसे इस बुक को पढ़ते हैं ना, एक इमेज बनने लगती है कि आप सावित्री की एक इमेज आपके माइंड में क्रिएट होने लग जाती है. लाइक डिस्क्रिप्शन इज सो गुड.
Yeah.
The way he's described everything in detail.
Yeah.
तो आपको लगता है कि आपके सामने कोई इमेज आ रही है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल. Yes, Riddhi, anything from you?
No, I'm just new.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to
Yeah,
understand
it's
and
okay.
get
Take your
into
time. Yeah.
it.
Okay then, thanks for joining. Have a good time. I'll see you in the
Thank
next session. Yeah. Thank you.
you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.